But we put out a condition book that a 2-week interval, 2-week schedule of races. And we do it as late as we can, but still at the same time trying to give enough time for owners and trainers to prepare their horses for those maiden races or allowance races or whatever you have that will appear in the condition book. Same thing with those races. We have all the subsets. You have the boy and girl races, the short and the long, the dirt and the turf, or the synthetic and the turf, the open and the cowbred. All of these races serve to make up the bulk of the program. It really is a matter of trying to have as thorough knowledge as you can of the horses in your inventory that make up those races, but recognizing that what's best for us, best for the track and management, is the same.
Throughout the meet, when we try to plan our meet and plan our each racing day, depending on the inventory, it dictates how often that certain category will be ridden. And I'm sure a lot of you as horse owners will see that. If you have a horse that's very unique, that fits a unique category, you might not see that race but once a month, once every 5 weeks, and I'm sure it becomes very frustrating. Whereas if you look at the racing program and you look at a maiden 25, those races might be every 3rd or 4th day. Well, the inventory condition book. Once it comes out, the trainers go through the book. They'll mark each race for, if they have 40 horses in their barn, they'll mark races in the book and put their horses down and contact the jock's agent to see if, what calls they can get for what jocks.
Don't put the horses in. The racetrack more or less likes the trainer to be involved, and he'd be more responsible for putting that horse in. So they have an entry booth here. They have 2 of them, one over near the gap when the horses come on the track. And also they have the racing office. As you as an owner, you could come in and put a horse in with permission from your trainer in case he can't get there. And you go over and they fill out the name of the horse, put the jockey's name down and the trainer's and what race is that you want to enter in.
Depending on the category of horse, if it's a category that you use often and the race didn't even get close to filling, you might wait till the next one in the book. If it's a category that you don't use that often, a horse that maybe doesn't get to run but once a month, you push the race, and what we use the term in the racing office called hustling, or we'll actually get on the phone if we're close to filling a nice allowance race that has 3, 4, 5 horses and it's close to filling. We'll get on the phone and just start calling trainers that we think might fit that race and hustle. Races in the book, the way we have them, the 8 or 9 or 10 races we have in the book, that's the races we want to use on that day. That's what we have there. Preferably, if the book went every day, our job would be 100% easier. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. And then somewhere...
And it would be less frustrating for owners and trainers because they get the book, they plan on that race, and it gets 3 entries that day. They've been planning, everything's geared for that day for that horse to run. Doesn't happen. There's nothing more frustrating for an owner.
We also try to develop quality and intermingle quality with quantity in all of our racing programs. And we do that partially, we're working for the owners also because we want to derive handle. And the more handle we have, especially on large days, big cap day, derby day, it benefits the purse account. The larger our field sizes are, the more quality we have in our racing program actually benefits owners because it increases handle, which increases purses, which increases revenue to the racetrack. It benefits everybody.
Mike, they have to 4 or 5 months out before their meet starts be sort of fortune tellers. What's the economy going to be like? What's our marketing program going to do in terms of producing people on track? And they work together with their colleagues. They get an estimate of the total amount what they believe will be purse revenue. And then they take that sum and they divide a percentage for stakes and a percentage for overnights. That's the first division they make, and they try and protect the historical stakes and particularly graded stakes. Once they've done that, and I'll just tell you, in Southern California, that percentage is somewhere around 26% of all purse money will be allocated to stakes races. TOC's role is to review both the stake schedule and the overnight purse schedule as well as the projections. And we negotiate with the racing departments in advance of the meeting as to particular purse levels, as to particular classifications of races. And we TOC sort of takes a longer term view beyond a single meet at a time, we try and make certain that the races and the classifications and the stakes work north and south, work for all meets during the year. And we are thinking, not just today for this meet, not just for the San Antonio meet, but what are the consequences of the types of races they offer and the decisions that they make